Now shout out Mile High Minute. This is the biggest hip hop platform in Denver. Um, I asked Mile High Minute to put me on because I really care about the demographic that it covers. You know, a younger hip hop generation demographic, and everybody's politicking about the death and the poverty that you're experiencing. All these politicians are talking about you while playing your music at their events. They're playing hip hop music at your events, talking about your poverty, your kids getting killed, and don't even care about you, won't even invite you, won't even come on Mount High Minute. They don't even know about hip hop in this city. So I know somebody's ready to blow in Denver. I support it, and Mount High Minute is a great platform, man. So a shout out to Mount High Minute and everybody who's been on here, man. I got your back. When you see this neon green, you know that's the Terrance Roberts for Mayor campaign, Save Our City. You see Denver right there on my logo. I'm for the town.
High Minute #1 blog in the universe. Today we got a special guest, native out of Park Hill, Denver, who's running for mayor. Terrance Roberts, man. What's the word?
What's happening, bro? How you doing, man? Mount High Minute. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Doing good. I appreciate you for coming on the show. I've watched some previous videos and heard about your name through the city, but that documentary, the Holly, the book, everything like that's been going crazy in the city. Got a chance to watch that, so I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, no, man. Thanks for watching it. I don't know if you read the book, but I don't know you've seen the doc.
Not the book yet. I'm gonna have to look at it.
But I mean that doc, even if you take an hour and a half to do that, sure, it's love. It's about the town. It's not even called. It's called the Holly. It's not about me. It's about our whole town. Gang violence, youth violence. You know that's the bedrock of hip hop, man. Is our struggles. So it really outlines it here in the Denver city metro area.
Right. Okay. So since this is our first interview, I want to dive into your original backstory. So were you born and raised in Park Hill, or where were you born? And
yeah, no, I was born at Denver General, which is now Denver Health, and literally my whole life I lived mainly in Park Hill, but then I moved to Green Valley Ranch when gangs really started getting bad, like in the mid to late 80s. We moved to Green Valley Ranch, and I went to MLK Middle School. However, it was just as many gangs and as much violence as in Park Hill, so we moved back to Park Hill. My first year of high school, I went to Montbello High School my first semester and everything.
Oh, okay. So we
moved back right after that.
Okay. What was life like originally for you before, the gang and the activism and running for mayor now, obviously? What was life like before? Were you into sports or anything like that growing up?
Yeah, I was just a regular kid, bro. I played basketball, football. I mean, I played for the Pirates in Park Hill. I played for Montbello Falcons for Coach Algie's team. I hooped. I played soccer. I played baseball. I did I rode my skateboard. I tried to be a skater for a little while, just having fun with it. Wasn't that good at it, but I could flip the board and do some 360s and stuff. But walking through Park Hill, I had a little candy store.
Yeah.
We had the Park Hill Ninja Club. Grew up listening to hip hop. My first hip hop tape was I got it on my birthday, was LL Cool J's.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Sets, and I wore that thing out playing that, and just a normal kid, man, in the inner city, growing up. Left the gangs. Got left that and joined the gang, of course, in the early 90s, moving back to Park Hill. Most of us did. Went to prison. I got shot in my back in 93. I used to sell drugs. I used to do all the stuff, man. Everything that's kind of that experience of growing up in inner city, late 80s, early 90s, all through the 90s. I experienced all of that and came home, really just wanted to be an organizer, man, and do that.
Right.
For the culture of hip hop, do that for Park Hill, for the East Side too. It's not just I'm from Park Hill, but I work for the 5 Points, Montbello, Green Valley Ranch, Aurora.
For the city.
For the state, really.
Yeah.
Colorado Springs, man. We rep the Springs too.
Yeah.
Fort Collins, Boulder, all of
them.
Yeah. I'm from all of them.
That's dope. Yeah. Okay. So what I guess led into your interest in joining the game from a young age? I know you said obviously grew up in Park Hill, Montbello and stuff, but I mean, were you ever considering any other options, or did you feel okay, did you get influenced into? I'm gonna join a gang. Like, how did it kind of come about? I suppose.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I used to like going to school, bro. I was an honor roll student.
Mm,
School's fun. I always still say that if
yeah,
a kid doesn't like going to school, something's wrong.
yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
love school. Yeah,
If somebody doesn't like going to work, something's wrong at work. You know, and that's real talk. So, I was just a regular kid, man. I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be all kind of different stuff. You
yeah,
know, growing up. The reason why I started banging was just because that's what it was, man. If you wasn't going to the NFL or NBA,
right.
you know, and if we got other, men and women from other communities, which at the time they were Crips, I became a Blood, were coming into the community, beating people with golf clubs, killing people at parties. We couldn't party west of Colorado Boulevard. That was all Crips.
Yeah,
Montbello was mainly Crips, and then Aurora too at that time. So if you left Park Hill, and you weren't even a Blood yet, you could still get assaulted or be in danger just from going to these different places. And now all those guys in my generation, we laugh about it.
right.
But in the late 80s, early 90s, it was really serious. Really, because it was movement. So Denver had not yet like got his bones yet. We hadn't
Yeah,
really made our mark in that. And so all these different cities, but Denver especially, we really have a West Coast style energy
right.
about us, right? This is more of like a West Coast style cultural of a city.
Mm,
And we dove headfirst into it because it was more of a community representation
right,
at that time. You could say you're a Blood or a Crip, but it's really, if you from over here, that's what you are.
right,
So it's more about community. For me, it was more about community. And when I see my partners getting killed, getting beaten up, getting chased from parties, we were getting beaten up, chased from parties. It was just a natural progression. I never started banging because I want to rob little old ladies
right,
or even be a gangster.
right,
Just now that I was from the gang, you got to be gangster. You can't not be that because
right.
this is what you are.
Yeah.
And whatever I put my name on it, I want to do with excellence.
Mm,
From the gang to activism to my mayoral campaigns. If I lose, I lose, but it's not going to be because it's slouchy or because I didn't do my best. And that's why my gang history became so bad because now that I'm involved for my community, we got to go. Whatever gangsters do, hey, we got to do that. It's a to do list.
right.
And I made mine, but, and I don't have, the only thing I regret from that is really all the violence from it, man. There was
Mm,
many good moments. I met some good people in the streets too.
right.
Crackheads, Bloods, Crips, rivals,
Yeah.
you know, hell, even correctional officers, so I learned something from some of them,
Right.
and when I left the gangs and came home, I really want to put that energy I put into being a Damu into really doing something, starting in Park Hill, but branching out to those other communities I talked about.
Right. Right. Did you see Chauncey Billups growing up in Park Hill or anything? Was that around the same time or no?
Yeah,
Like,
the same age. I
oh,
was
okay.
looking at because my birthday is August 9th,
Hmm.
and he's maybe like September or something. I know his birthday is close to mine.
Yeah.
So he ended up being a grade lower than mine because I
Hmm.
was supposed to graduate when I was 17. And I lived on 29th and Pontiac, 2955 Pontiac, and he lived on the right next block,
Oh, okay.
29th and Poplar. So when you see that tattoo, he has King of the Hill.
Right.
And when you see Park Hill, people say King of the Hill. It's not just because it's Park Hill. There was a game we used to play at Chauncey's house, and
Oh,
it would be
okay.
like an ice mound. And it was a huge because they used to shovel all the streets and push it right on the side of Chauncey's house on 30th. And
Yeah.
his house was the last house on 29th and Poplar. We call it Popular. It's really
Yeah.
Poplar, but we call Popular Street.
Yeah.
And we throw each other, and it'd be like a big ice rock in the side of his house. It'd be like 30 feet high, and that's big. Well, not 30
Yeah.
feet. That's pretty high. But I'd say about 20 feet. And we throw each other off the top, and whoever was at the top was King of the Hill. That was like a
Okay.
Park Hill thing
Yeah.
growing up. Was like we play King of the Hill. You know what I mean, on the ice mountains in the
Yeah.
winter
Yeah.
and stuff. And now he has a tattooed on him, and so we grew up right around the corner from each other. So I know
Right.
Chauncey and his whole family very well.
Okay. That's dope. Yeah. I mean, it's dope just to see someone from the community like make it out and go crazy with in the league. You know what I'm saying? Someone to look up to like that. So,
He's a Hall of Famer,
right.
right from Park Hill too. So,
Yeah.
and which is East Denver, So we like to always call the East Side, which is the 5 points up the Colorado
Yeah.
Boulevard, the East Side. Park Hill is the East Side. It's further east than the East Side.
Right.
Central Park's the East Side. Montbello's the East Side, and we call Green Valley Ranch, literally it's named far northeast Denver.
Right.
So yeah, Park Hill's the east. So somebody from northeast Denver, all of it's northeast.
Right.
It feels good to see somebody, but to be honest, anywhere from Denver, west side, north side,
Yeah.
south side. If you're from Denver or the metro area, I'm rooting for them.
Right. Right. Now, that's funny you say that too, because when I first started doing interviews, I kind of made that mistake where, like, I guess not necessarily a mistake, but I would say, you know, Park Hill's on the east side, but like you said,
It is the east side, though.
yeah, but people would be like, you know, it's not the it's Park Hill. I'm like, all right, like
Well,
I get it,
If
but
you're from Park Hill and you watch Mount High Minute, just know we're from a Park Hill vet. And it's the east side, it's northeast Denver.
yeah,
Because of gangs, the original Blood Gang was West Side CMG.
mm,
But that's Inglewood.
yeah, yeah,
Park Hill is more east than the east side is.
okay,
So just the east side starts in downtown. And the
right.
Five Points, all of that. So
From a geography's perspective, yeah,
they proudly claim the east side. Sadly enough to say people from Park Hill because of the original West Coast Street Gang, because we had the BOYZs, which they're more of an organization, they're older than us.
mm,
So we had some gangs or organizations that were Park Hill, Brick Cities, 5 Points, BOYZs, Park Hill, but they didn't claim east or west side. But once we started throwing up W's and E's, people from Park Hill started throwing up W's for west side, but it's not the west side.
okay,
It's the east side.
right, right,
So,
okay. So, you jump off the porch, you get into that, and then you said you ended up getting shot at one point.
yeah, I got shot because I started gangbanging more so around 1990.
Okay,
Really getting involved like that summer.
were you like how old were you around that time?
I was 14 when I really started
Okay,
really wanting to be a blood, not fully banging yet, because we had bloods that were real bloods. I
yeah,
was just wearing burgundy. I went from wearing green to burgundy to red. It was kind of a transition for me, right?
yeah,
But you know, fully banging, especially like around 90, when I ended up getting shot in my back in the summer of violence of 93.
mm,
Actually, so that's when I got shot, was July of 93. And then I ended up getting shot again in 1994. And then I went to the penitentiary.
how were you able to bounce back from those situations, you know, like, and how did they like mold you and teach you to grow, I suppose? I know it seems like you kind of grew more a little later with jail and stuff, but I mean getting shot twice, I'm sure that has to change you somehow, right? Like,
It made me angry, bro.
yeah,
Like I was really out there. I was a stepper. You know, I was selling drugs and I was in and out of jail getting shot. So I never really had kilos and kilos. The most drugs I ever had was 1 kilo.
yeah,
And that was a lot for me, right? You know,
right,
but I was really in the gangs and really solidified my feelings of hatred and anger towards other people that at that time, you know, we were being pumped into us, we're being bred into us.
mm,
And some of these guys are my best friends now. It's funny, you know, right? But
yeah,
at the time, man, you know, I didn't know if I was going to live to see 21. I didn't know I was going to survive being shot at because not only was I getting shot, but I was also getting shot at and just not hit. It was a lot was happening.
mm,
You know, my car got blown up. My grandmother's house was getting shot up. My mom's house. So we were going through it. It was a war. You know, a war happened in Northeast Denver. And we say that all the time, a real war. And it really took me low, man. I was angry. I was depressed. You know, who wants to live like that? If you're smart,
right,
you don't want to live like that. You know, you
right,
want to be successful. And it did take me going to the penitentiary. And I was angry in prison when I first started going to jail. I was in there fighting and catching things, and people were banging on me, and I was banging on people. You know,
mm,
that's how anger was my outlet. Violence, and violence is a drug, bro. Violence
yeah,
is it's a spirit, right?
right,
Um, I was involved with that. I was still banging. It wasn't until my last day because I had got out of prison, and then ended up catching another case and I was looking at the habitual criminal, and I ended up with 7 years, and it was really doing my last stint in prison, where I really just said, you know what, man, I got to be done with all this. Even if I'm gonna
yeah,
keep banging, I can't be angry
yeah,
like this. I can't always be angry and sad and depressed. So it was a journey, bro. Getting
yeah,
shot and getting locked up and busting my fingers on the concrete trying to fight in the walls.
yeah,
Um, and even when you win a fight, you still lose the fight. I
yeah,
tell Christabel this, like even when I win all these fights that I used to have, It was like I got my ass kicked more than them. I see them on the basketball court with a black eye,
Yeah.
and people be like, Terrance won the fight. But I'm laid up in bed with a busted elbow and a
Right.
busted hand. And like, and they're hooping.
So no one wins really. Yeah.
Kids, bro. So
Yeah.
it was a long journey, you know, and really my love for Denver. My dad lived in California growing up. He lived in the Bay. He lived in Oakland and San Francisco. So I grew up going to the Bay. Like there's an affinity in my heart towards the Bay.
Right.
And when it was time for me to come home, I'm a Denver kid. I'm a
Right.
Colfax baby.
Right.
So my love for Denver, man, really was what got me involved with the gangs. So I love Park Hill, and my love for Park Hill and for Denver as a whole is what got me out of the gangs too. The same love I had getting in it is the same love I had to get out of it.
Okay. I know you brought up your parents a bit. Like, how was your parents, influence on you growing up and that structure and stuff like that as well?
I was mainly raised with my mom and my grandma, and shoot, my mom and which is more of a matriarchal family. It's more like women. Because my grandmother migrated here from Arkansas, and she brought her 10 brothers and sisters with her, and they only had 2 brothers, but it was 8 women who were not playing games. They were really tough. And my grandmother owned a restaurant in the middle of Park Hill, 28th and Fairfax, called Angin and Fish Market.
Yeah.
So that was before the Bloods and Crips even started. And really, like a lot of the Bloods, they lived next door to her restaurant on Fairfax. So I would always be around them and see Bloods and see Crips and see her breaking up fights. And, my grandmother was a very tough woman. She worked 15 hours a day. She brought that Southern work ethic and
Yeah.
attitude with her. My mom was a young single mom. She made her mistakes thugging in her 20s.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you see your mom and your parents in their 20s and early 30s, they seem way older. But now
Right.
in my, I'm as old as I am. My mom and my dad were just babies to me at the time. Now, at the age I am, my dad had his struggles when I went to California. He was trying to be a pimp, and maybe he was. I don't know. He said he was. I'm not saying he was trying, but he was
Right.
pimping, fighting, and I be when I was out there, he came to my aunt's once because I was mainly staying with my aunts and my cousins, and we'd be on MacArthur Boulevard in Oakland 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
International or something, stealing fruit out of people's backyards or at Lake Merritt.
Yeah.
It's 3 in the morning. And he came to my aunt's once and his face was busted and his hands was busted. So he was in California doing whatever. So he couldn't really raise me. So even if I did stay in California with him, he didn't have the stability. My mom had her struggles, so I started living with my grandmother. Now my mom's a successful realtor.
That's dope.
So
Yeah.
he doesn't really
Yeah.
talking about this stuff and all that. And I don't really like putting her business out there all that
Right.
much. My dad just passed away. He was a street minister.
My condolences. Yeah.
But everybody knows Minister George Roberts. Rest in peace to Minister George Roberts.
Yeah.
And he was a real big influence on me because he was actually the one in jail when I was in jail telling me, man, you gotta change your life, brother. You gotta give your life to Christ. And even though I'm not a religious person, I do believe in Jesus, though.
Yeah.
And I study my
Feel
word.
that. Yeah.
I try to model myself after people like Jesus Christ, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
People who carry themselves in a more revolutionary stance
Right.
versus being a gangster. No disrespect to the gangsters. If that's where you at, that's where you
Yeah.
at. Just I did that already.
Right. Right.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. You're on a new path. I respect it. Get back into your story. So you ended up going to prison, right? You said 7 years?
No,
Or
I did a little over 10 years.
okay.
And my last sentence was a 7-year sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. So
W- What was that experience like as a whole? I know you said initially like you were banging on people were banging on you, but as time went on, and even in the documentary, like it seems like you were growing, and you were talking about Martin Luther King as an influence and like how you wanted to get out and kind of change. So what was like that whole, I suppose, process while you were in jail or prison, and like how it all went to you eventually coming out and being more of a revolutionist, I suppose, if you call it that.
a revolutionary.
Yeah.
So, man, when I first said that I wasn't banging anymore, man, everybody laughed at me. They were cracking up. Like, yeah, right. Because there were Bloods and Crips who, because they used to call me Showbiz or Biz. That was my gang name. And they didn't even know my real name. My real name's Terrance. They
Right.
thought my real name was just the funniest thing in the world, right? And I'm like, what's so funny about my name, bro? Like,
Yeah.
see, that's the problem. And I started realizing they fell in love with the character of showbiz. Because no matter how hard or whatever, bro, I've been around the hardest Crips and Bloods. I've worked in Watts, Compton, Denver, been around Bloods and Crips, the sorriest and
Yeah.
the toughest. Man, a lot of that is just a lot of anger,
Mm.
a lot of trauma and drama and pain if somebody's really acting like that. I've
Yeah.
seen the hardest Crips and Bloods get a chance. I've seen them get a contract or get a chance at life, and they be the smartest ones in the room.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I went from the brothers laughing at me, not taking me serious. This was in Montgomery County. I advanced to prison. The Bloods didn't know how to take me. This was actually the first time I had been in the penitentiary, which was mainly Bloods, because the Bloods out here, this side of Mississippi, in the West,
Mm.
are outnumbered by Crips in pretty much every city, for the most part, except for like San Diego or Sacramento. But for the most part, most cities are mainly Crips,
Mm.
especially out here in Colorado. But this prison had a bunch of Bloods and people who had love for me, and they were politicking on me too, because I'm not from the gang anymore. But
Yeah.
I never debriefed. Denver's not California where you have to debrief. I didn't go to
What do you
an
mean by that? Like,
well, if you debrief, like, so in California, they have such a strong gang structure because there's so many people in their penitentiary.
mm.
In order for them to take you off of the yard, if you leave a gang, you have to go give up all of the information you know
Mm.
to the correctional officers, which is, pretty much you tell them everything you know. You
Mm.
get somebody indicted or whatever, then they send you to what's called a special needs yard, a S and Y yard. Denver doesn't really have dedicated S and Y yards, and you have to snitch if you. Me, like, I'm just like, I'm not banging. I never snitched on nobody. I never had no co-defendants. They knew I just wanted to do better. But still, they were politicking on me because people were asking them questions, other Latino gangsters and other Crips and stuff.
Mm.
Even other Bloods, not all the Bloods are from Park Hill. It's a lot of West Side Bloods, Latino blood gangs. Um, and I'm on the yard, bro. Nobody touched me. I have respect. Never snitched on anyone. So I had to learn in my activism. I lost my cool a couple times. I never ended up into like a fist fight or something like I was gang banging. But
Mm.
there was times where I had some growing to do. I had to grow to get where I am. But it was love. It's been all love. The only time I did not end up getting love was when I had to defend myself, which you've seen in the documentary. But for me, changing my life, going to prison,
Mm.
going all the way up into the Holly and really being known as an activist on the streets, besides a couple of haters. I hate to say that about our town, but that's every town. But you're going to always have your jealous people, your haters.
Mm.
Castle didn't even bang a percentage of the gang banging and violence I did. Were the main ones hating on me or working for the law enforcement. And up until I had to defend myself, I was really just ignoring that stuff.
Mm.
But besides that,
Yeah.
since then I've got nothing but love, bro.
Yeah.
Except for just a small group of haters. But you got haters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If everybody likes you,
Yeah.
that's actually not a good thing. And then
Yeah.
you want to create haters. You gain haters from doing positive things.
Right.
This
That's
is what
real.
happened to me. So I don't spend a bunch of time bemoaning that
Yeah.
and crying about it. But the answer to the question about me, it's been nothing but love mainly.
That's
Except
dope.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's love, man. I focus on the love.
That's real. You got to. The other shit will drive you crazy. I'll be having that problem. I'm
And I
like,
get upset.
yeah. Right.
People voting for me who, man, I'm an ex-gang member, and I am an
Right.
ex-gang member. And anybody who knows about Bloods and Crips in Denver, I don't need to brag about it. It's nothing to brag about. I really ruined my life doing it, but I was real about it. I
Yeah.
was about that action and all that stuff. We sliding, stepping, all those types of things. I did those things, and for a long time, the fighting. I did. I've had dozens of fist fights, bro. If I get you a close up on my knuckle, I'll show you scars all over my hands.
Yeah.
My face used to be busted. I used to want to just be a pretty boy.
Yeah.
That I was kind of like the sleeper. Cats thought I was the pretty boy, but I was sometimes the roughest. I'd be the main one to do it.
Yeah.
I've had those moments, and it really feels good to me that I can really say I'm running for office. I'm a positive person. I can talk to somebody who's a real Crip or real Blood, respectfully, gain their respect, and not just disrespect their lifestyle because I think I'm better than them, or it's just stupid. No, it's not just stupid. There is a such thing as systemic racism. There is such thing as poverty of trauma, drama. You don't know if this young Cripper blood was molested. You don't know where that anger comes from, or they seen their mom or dad smoking crack, or their mama getting abused by her boyfriend, and he was too young, she was too young to fight this person. You don't know what
Right.
that does to somebody. So I never try to disrespect the lifestyle. I think God led me through that so I can talk to somebody who's caught up an abused person. Because most gang members, bro, there's a disconnect. Some happen when they'll tell you,
Yeah.
get the hardest crip in here on Mount High Minutes, and they'll tell you some good positive childhood
No,
stories.
that's real.
But there's always something, the most positive Damu, the most banging his blood or something. And there's always something the way they'd be like, man, well, this happened though.
Right.
Crack came, or I used to play football. So what changed from you wanting to go to the NFL to now you want to kill somebody, or now you a black boy?
Mm.
And there's always something traumatic that happens.
Right.
There's
Right.
always a change in life. And the fact that I could speak to that and get welcome, besides like of course the jealous hater who's gonna want to push back on it. Besides of minus that, I can speak to come to the hip hop. I am hip hop, bro. I'm the evolution of hip hop. You know,
Yeah.
I remember
No,
when
I've
I
seen you
was
drop some music. Yeah.
so not only have I'm not gonna say have I been, but am I an artist? You don't just lose the art.
Right.
My focus right now was on me getting into office to really change some of the systemic racism and poverty that we can in Denver with being the mayor. But I'm from the culture, and I care more about being the mayor, representing the culture, than disrespecting the culture just so I could be the mayor. Because if that's what I got to do to be the mayor, I don't want to be the mayor. So I'm not changing politics. I'm just looking out for myself. And that's when don't vote for me. When you see me faking and fronting and
Yeah.
acting like I'm not from the streets and acting like I'm Carlton to get a vote, eh, that's when you know that I've lost my way.
That's
But
real.
I'm here right now. I hit y'all up for an interview months ago because I care about this demographic getting involved with politics with me. You know,
Yeah.
I've taught the Bloods how to gangbang, some Crips too, from what we were doing. I've entered hip hop. I've worn the camouflage bandanas. I've done the protesting. Our general fund is $1.5 billion. Y'all ready to talk about that? Hip Hop Denver, y'all want to talk
Yeah.
about this general fund?
No,
Or
yeah.
you want to talk about who snatched whose chain in LA?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we talk about LA way too much in Denver. We talk about what's going on with FBG Duck and Dirk and all that. We talk about, we all
Yeah, that's crazy. You brought him up.
talking about what's going on in other cities.
Yeah.
I've worked in Chicago. I've worked all through LA. On a normal day in LA, it's just a lot of young brothers and sisters like in Colorado. They trying to figure it out.
Right.
They in LA. They don't know how to get on some of them platforms. They don't know how to get on Vlad, or like you said, no jumper or none of that.
Yeah.
Them doors is closed too to them too. So man, we could do better in Denver, man. We can focus on some real change and some real money, and I want to be the representative of that real change.
That's real. Okay. Now, what was like I guess the light switch, or the thing that triggered you into focusing on activism once you got out and stuff like that? Was it like just your research on the history of activism in Colorado, or like what was that? And like, how did you actually start making those moves originally in the Holly, like, with the basketball court and all that stuff?
So I actually had got into an incident where I had shot up a guy's car and I had a Mac 11 because we had got into an argument over a Dayton hammer. And he ran to his car, thought he was getting a gun. I don't know what he was getting because I ended up shooting at him. He drove away. He called his mom. His mom called my probation officer. Our families knew each other. I ended up getting charged with habitual criminal. They found the Mac 11 in my grandma's bushes, so they gave me a previous offender with a weapons case on that. I ended up taking a 6-year deal. Then I had a menacing with a shotgun case. They gave me a 1-year deal, so that's how I got that 7. On going back to the penitentiary, that's when I changed in the county. I had seen that I had been to the mountaintop. It was a speech by Martin Luther King on PBS. And he said that when the people get to the mountaintop, he won't be there. But God has shown him the way, like I said on the documentary, and that really made me think. I mean, this was really the spark. It was that night because I was like, man, how do you predict your own death literally less than 24 hours before you die. Because that's what he did. He got up there, did that speech, and told everybody, when you get to the mountaintop, I won't be there. But everybody's like, how you not going to be there? And then
You
next
think
day,
he knew, or
I
like,
don't know, he got assassinated
fair
the
enough.
very next day, though. That's more prophetic than even what Jesus predicting his own death the very next day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that sparked me, and I was still a blood. I was still gangbanging. I was still having to uphold that, right? And I got a hold of his autobiography, and I started reading his and it was thick. And I started reading his autobiography, Bible studying, just all kind of different things. And anything positive, I started putting into myself. And then I ended up saying I wasn't banging. When I told you they were laughing at me, it was actually in
Yeah.
Denver County Jail. And I was like, all right, y'all see. And one of my pilots was like, well, when you go to the penitentiary, what you gonna say when it goes up? If it's a riot, you gotta get down, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna roll you up. They're gonna DP you. Everyone is. I actually stopped the riot in Fremont. I had a lot of respect, man. And there were a couple of skirmishes with the blacks and Latinos. Not even over racism, just over gangs. A lot of that stuff be over gangs. It starts over the gang. Blacks and Latinos grow up together.
Right.
Latinos be saying nigga and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's be honest, they pushing hip hop.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is gang violence, but there was a couple times where it went up with a couple people. And that's none of my business. I don't need y'all's helping, nor am I helping. Not with none of that stuff. Now, if y'all want me to help with something positive or whatever, we had those discussions. And I grew, like I said earlier, I grew into my activism. And I went to the penitentiary, read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I started studying the Black Panthers, started studying Corky Gonzalez here in Denver. Cesar Chavez, it's Cesar Chavez Day on Friday.
Right.
So y'all know. But I just started, man, and I don't have a problem with Bloods, Crips, or gangbangers or nothing like that. It had just got to the point where I had did that up to the pinnacle. The only thing left for me to do with gangbanging was get shot again and get killed, or sit in the penitentiary. Man, I was so sick of sitting in jail. I was in jail 2 years as a juvenile. My whole adult 20s, I was locked up.
Yeah.
My hands were busted. I have a big scar on my stomach from getting shot in my back. My back gets messed up, and it messed my stomach up. So it's like I got shot twice.
Yeah. So you still feel that?
Oh man, I'm damn near disabled some days if I bend over the wrong way. But as much as I wanted to be positive, I got tired. Even if I didn't become an activist and all that, I was just like, I don't want to gangbang no more. I'm cool, bro. Like, I don't have nothing to prove. When I see people who act extra like that, it doesn't make me mad. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
It does, man, because I know there's obviously you feel like you haven't done enough. And I don't mean if you just a crip and you wear blue or blood or whatever. I mean, if you acted extra, we know what I mean by acting extra. Tripping on you for nothing or just whatever. Tripping on Britain, man. Like, you really care that much about that, or are you just full of anger and hatred and jealousy, right? And see, people, it used to make me mad. That was my struggle with changing my life, and I really will match that energy. But now I'm to the point where I really feel sorry for people like that, bro. Because,
no, that's real.
There's some pain there, man. If you're jealous of somebody else, you just acting like it's because of hip hop. You acting like it's because of the interview, but really something else is underlining. And now that and it took me a while to get to that point.
Yeah.
But now that
I need a lot of
I know I'm ready to run for office. Like, I know I'm ready to really be back in that space talking to Bloods, Crips, because for a little while, especially after the shooting in the Holly, I wasn't in a good space.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure.
I don't want to be around it now, to be honest with you. You don't see me showing up to. I support hip hop. I support Bloods and Crips if they're doing positivity. But you don't see me trying to be OG. Oh, what up, OG? No, I'm not. That's not my space. That's not. Man, I get these youngsters because to me it's a young man's game. Hip hop's a young man's game, bro. I lend my art. I lend my support to it. But man, I let these youngsters, man, do what they do. If I can help out from where I am, more of a political older man space, let me know. I'm still squashing beefs behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You probably ain't gonna see me doing as much pumping the bullhorn as you did documentary. But we did heal the hood.
That's real.
We did the camo movement.
Right.
And we still doing it. It was just in LA, man. Damn near everybody from Denver who's in LA came. They was all rocking camouflage.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? And that's way in Los Angeles. So that's my contribution to hip hop, to the gang culture, to culture.
Right.
Is being bringing positivity to it, bro. I brought enough negativity to it. I'm not against it. I'm for the positivity of it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
How do you, so when all this was going down, like, how come you decided to like still go back to the hood and, like I said, more of an activism route instead of just, you know, like, I guess avoiding it completely? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I could have left. Everyone leaves.
yeah.
But that's the thing is, I'm from Park Hill, man. Why do I have to leave?
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I gotta go. So you mean to tell me Terrance has to leave because he wants to do something positive for God? It should be fine for me to be where I'm from. I'm bringing something. I'm doing this for y'all's kids. You know, we got that youth center built for everyone's kids. If you're in Park Hill, that I feel like that's what the Bloods should be doing. Shouldn't take Terrance Roberts.
Right.
We need the Bloods to do more than just rap music. You can upload your music on DistroKid, huh? It's on iTunes.
Yeah.
That's on everything. After that, that's $20 a year. We need more than that. We need more than somebody saying I'm from the hillside. We know you from the hillside. We need the Damus to raise some bread, bro. Like that's my mentality. That goes for the Crips too. That's not being disrespectful. And until at a place where they can raise $5 million for a youth center, then shoot, let me do it. I'll do it. That don't mean I'm disrespecting you. If you ain't at a place, if somebody's not at a place to run a mile high minute, let Britain do it, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Let the people who know how to do it. So that was my mentality, man. I want it better for my kids. And I shouldn't have to leave the hood. That's the problem. We got gangbangers and rappers rapping about, well, let's do better. Where's Malcolm X? Then you get a Malcolm X and the informants is beating them up, you know, because they're not a blood or a Crip no more. Do y'all really want this, or do we just want to keep passing the same cycle on to our kids?
Right.
Because I'm worried about my children, bro. So no, I brought it back to the hood because I don't think you'll be a revolutionary if you're not where the people need you, and if it's dangerous, then whatever.
Right.
I could die still running from there. I get death threats. I have armed security. You know, so a lot of times you see me, you won't even know who my security is.
Yeah.
You know, they're undercover. $80 an hour, we pay for it.
That's right.
You know, so
thanks for letting me know because I need to know.
I mean, you're tripping with me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just like for my sake, for future reference, because sometimes people want me to go to shows. I'm like, as a blogger, like, you know, I don't know because I don't know who I can trust. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, man, I'm gonna tell you something now, and that's sad, but you know, hip hop is built off of competition.
It is,
and it was positive competition, but too often now people can't get that positive, that positive reaction off of their music. They'll get that negative reaction. Oh, I'm knocked out.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, they're clouding up off it. Yeah.
They might knock you out and you hit your head on that curb.
Right.
They might knock you out and it breaks your jaw and your jaw's crooked for the rest of your life. Like, you know, so that's my only issue with hip hop, man, is so many, anybody can come to it, which they should be able to, but when you deal with the public, man, anybody can get involved. You've got a lot of hurt people, and hurt people hurt people.
Right.
And now a lot of hip hop, especially from cities like Denver, man. I love my city, but I gotta say, we don't have a lot of Maybachs. We don't have a a little Dirk, bro. We don't have a NBA young boy, man. We don't really have anyone, and this is not being disrespectful.
No, that's real.
Seattle's the same. Oklahoma City, Omaha, Denver is. We're pulling away from those cities because I know K-Tone and all them say Denver got next. And I'm telling them now Denver got right now.
Right. Yeah.
So I believe in the talent in Denver. But I'm just being honest. We have not gotten.
There's a lot of work to do.
We have not gotten behind just one artist. Even if that one artist got half the town hating them, we don't have half the town even pumping one artist.
Sure. Yeah.
Lil Durk and them got their enemies.
Right.
But so did Duck and them. Like they were each other's enemies, but they had a group of people say, we're gonna push, we're gonna make sure that this team gets here and this team may take them a little while because this team's in the industry first, blackballing.
Not for real. Yeah.
We know about the FBG camp too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's my thing with the hip hop community is I don't feel safe. You think there's some stuff I would love to come show my support. I used to when I was first an activist, but now I can't go to hip hop stuff because it might be some Bloods there who's hating on.
Yeah.
There might be some Crips attached to those Bloods because there's some Crips working for the law too. They're negative, and it comes to find out a lot of the most negative people in the hip hop industry have nefarious ties to law enforcement.
Yeah.
So but other than that, man, I love the industry. I love the culture. I don't have a problem with Bloods or Crips. I don't have a problem with the culture. Just if you don't see me there, just because my safety is on the line, and not because I'm a snitch or did nothing wrong. It's just, man, once you start getting a public name and start doing positive things, and millions of dollars are attached to you, it just brings weird energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird people start coming around.
Right. Now, obviously everyone's gonna want me to ask you about this, right? About the whole Holly situation, but it's in the documentary, so I feel like I don't really necessarily want to go too. What I'm saying is, like, I just don't want to go too in detail about like what happened, right? But like, do you have a positive message for like the people that are kind of your naysayers after that whole situation happened, or do you have a like y'all ain't necessarily gotta be cool or nothing, but like, do you have like a civil message, or would you be willing to like be cool in a specific environment? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I'm trying to ask, like, how could it come together, or is that even possible?
I mean,
You know?
so a lot of them young dudes that were there, because it was like a lot of younger Bloods
Mm,
who came across the street to attack me, but the older ones were the ones who sent them.
yeah.
The younger dudes, I've run into a lot of them.
Mm,
They don't even know me that much to have that much hatred for me. Man, when they came to the Holly, I was already an activist. And these dudes,
right.
right now I'm 46. I don't know no Damo that's 26. That's 20. My son just turned 27.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a huge difference. Yeah.
so it's like there's a big difference. I mean, I'm almost 50. And 26 is that's how old I was when I left the gangs.
Yeah.
A little bit older than that, right? So there's definitely a disconnect. Now, before the shooting, I knew the younger Bloods, I knew all the older Bloods. I was able to kind of have that synergy with them and stop
Yeah.
the violence and be like, bro, I talked to the Crips, I talked to these guys, they're not tripping. I've lost that. There's a real big gap now since then, because that was 10 years ago. The shooting happened in 2013, it's 2023 right now.
Right.
Okay, so for those younger guys who came, I've seen them. They've apologized to me. We've talked. We had a lot of back and forth that day leading up to that. They were misguided by some guys who were working for law enforcement. Hassan, the young man I had to shoot, he was in the documentary.
Right. Right.
Dominic Salinas literally said he was talking to him on the phone. He was working for the police. Those older Bloods were working for other police who told him to assault me.
So you think?
Those older guys? No, I don't really. Right now, I don't. I'm not trying to be negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing podcasts. I just seen under the Street Nurse.
Yeah.
They got Carl McKay on there. They calling him an honored guest. You're an honored guest because you in the Holly documentary for working for law enforcement out of your own mouth. I've been telling my own young guys who I was cool with to come assault me and kill me, saying I was a snitch, but you're a snitch. Now you're on Street Nurse as an honored guest. It's not me being negative. I'm cool on that.
Mm,
Man, do you know how many young Bloods and Crips have been murdered since they moved them to the Holly with that fake computer shop? We went from lowering gang violence tremendously in Denver. That don't mean we got sorry Bloods and Crips. That means we got hard Bloods and Crips who's tired of the violence. Man, I'm going to Watts, I'm going to Compton, I'm representing Denver, I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to Haiti. Denver was on. After I had to shoot Hassan and that big war started, we lost traction in Denver. We lost because there's not nobody in Denver who I want to introduce. You don't think if I was on Vlad TV, you don't think through the channels that I got in there, shout out to Nam, because Nam introduced me to Idi Amin. You don't think we could pull somebody else up and say, man, out of Denver, Vlad, this is who you need to get on. There's not one artist right now. This is no disrespect. There's not one person, bro, because of the negativity and just the way they carry themselves. So the older Bloods and Crips who's still acting like they gang banging in their 30s and 40s,
Yeah.
I'm not against them, but we don't have nothing to talk about because that's somebody who will make me kind of come out of character because I don't have a lot of patience for that. But the younger Bloods and Crips in their 20s, they struggling. This is what's been fed to them by their fathers who are my age, and they don't know no better. They just have to hate on me because that's all they've been taught. That's all they've known for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because if you're in your early 20s, you're a Blood or Crip, you was in middle school when I shot for something. The only thing you know about me is what some hater has said about me. And it was self-defense. I can't fight 25 Bloods, and it's on camera. There's no paperwork on me. There's paperwork on these guys. So I really feel sorry for the youngsters who even may hate on me because they don't know no better. But those guys who told them to assault me and they're still wearing red and all of this on street nerves and you 50 years old, man, bro, get out of here. If that's negative, I'm negative. You hanging out with Crenshaw Mafia Bloods or Crips who are gangbanging, telling your children to be cripping or being a Blood, and they're in their 40s. You should question yourself. Where have you failed in life to be hanging out, bringing somebody like this around your child, and they shouldn't even know where you live. They shouldn't even know where you live. Now, if you caught up in gangs and you want to be positive, and you're not just tripping on me because someone else told you, and you know you got some leadership potential, man. You can contact me. Even you come to my campaign stuff. I have Crips and Bloods coming to my campaign stuff. But if you're working for the police and you flanked up gang banging and you cripping, but you're working for the law, I still don't have no. I don't even want to be around no one like that. Nor am I pressing no issues.
Yeah.
But I don't mind answering the question either.
Right.
Nope, I don't have no patience for it. I'm not wanting to be negative, but all that stuff needs to go away. Or we'll never have no artists out of Denver. Denver is the informant capital of per capita in the United States. And I'm from Denver. I love Denver. But and that brings negativity. That brings hurt feelings. That brings, oh, he's a snitch or he's a rat. All that stuff. No rats shirts and all that. All that stuff brings negativity to the industry, man. And the police use that to their advantage to keep us murdering each other and keep us being afraid of one another. When Terrance Roberts can't go somewhere and be safe, and I'm a revolutionary fighting for Black people, Latino people, and working class white people, and I'm fighting for the culture, but a Crenshaw Mafia Blood who's on a movie saying I work for the police as an honored guest, that's the reason why ain't nobody listening to that. I was gonna do Street Nerves. I'm not doing it now. If that's the energy that you guys need for content, I'm cool on that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Street Nerves for all the rest of their content. I'm just not gonna be on there, and I don't have no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I fuck with Street Nerds.
But we ain't gonna do that. So, you know, that's the one thing about me that you'll get some negative energy out of me is those guys should not. No one should be dealing with those guys, man. It's not a personal thing. They've really hurt our city, and they caused a big gang war where a lot of Bloods and Crips either got murdered, got put in wheelchairs, or they're incarcerated because of what these guys did, literally to me in the Holly.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. So basically, you feel like the government is kind of behind a lot of this in a way. Because I was even watching another. It seemed like you were with Julian. It was like an interview, but it was more of like in an open like um, show type of space. It seemed like with people asking questions.
Q&A after we did a screen.
Yeah, I believe it was something like that. And, you know, you guys were kind of talking about, you know, how like basically police can make money, or not necessarily just police, but like the government in general can make money off of like, you know, violence and stuff like that, gun violence. So, and that's what it kind of seemed like the documentary was kind of hinting at or getting to. Not even really hinting, like if you're paying attention to it, it's basically what it's getting to at a certain point. But do you ever feel like, because I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, there's times where I be feeling nervous about doing certain interviews or like putting certain stuff out there because I'm like, I already know I'm kind of pushing the line. It's kind of edgy content because not everyone's gonna support rap music. You know what I'm saying? But like, there be times where I'm like, you know, I hear things or I see things, I'm like, I need to just kind of be quiet or whatever. Like, do you ever feel like that nervousness, or do you just kind of say like, whatever, I'm gonna do what's best, like type thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, but so even on the documentary, you notice where we were at the police station and me and Reverend Kelly got into an argument.
yeah,
You know, and I didn't plan on. I don't always have to talk, bro.
yeah,
It ends up a lot of times me doing the talking because in Denver, people are afraid. People are scared. We don't really
yeah,
have the type of activists that you go to Watts, bro. There'd be some ex-Cripper blood with black glasses. They don't care. They're like, oh, you motherfuckers, you know,
mm,
they're
yeah,
flashing. And they don't care. People are listening to them because they know them. Denver, you done lost your rap. You done lost all connects, bro. And this is from rappers who's listening to foundation people and all these other people who don't have nothing to do with gangs.
mm,
But their cousin or somebody, and their cousin would be like, oh, we don't like Terrance. And that's, you know, you cut out of a different industry in Denver because it's all interconnected. I don't always have to be the one to say certain stuff, the hard things, but if I got to, that's the bet I made, right? Like,
mm,
uh, even in that scene in the Holly where Reverend Kelly started talking about, he knew that those bloods had jumped on me, and I'm yelling at him like, well, why don't you tell that to my attorney? I didn't plan on saying nothing. He opened his mouth, and then I responded. You know, so there's times where I don't want to be the one that talking, but I end up doing the talking. There's times where I don't say anything, and maybe I should. But then there's times I don't care, bro. I'm not looking for. I don't need to sign to a major.
mm,
I'm not. I love the culture of hip hop. I've done hip hop music, but that's not my path, bro. Like I'm an artist.
yeah,
I could paint a picture. I'm not trying to be Picasso. My my path to getting my family stable is not me painting a bunch of pictures. I go to sip and paint all day. I go to smoke and paint. I'm not trying to be a painter.
yeah,
I do music still. I'm not really trying to, like I said, once it's on DistroKid, I'm listening to it for free. Man, my thing is this. I'm tired of people bullying people, hating on people. Police and gangbangers have been our biggest bullies of people of color, and we already have enough issues with poverty. And poverty, a lot of times, comes from systemic racism. And there's racism and there's classism. We got a lot of poor white people too. Poverty is our intersectionality. Not just because you're getting teased for this or that. That ain't intersectionality.
mm,
Because you could have an LGBTQIA person who hates black people. That's not intersectionality just because you both get teased. Intersectionality is if you're poor, you're poor.
yeah,
If you got mold in your ceiling, you got mold in your ceiling. You got to go hang out on Colfax and Sheridan to get it. Uh, Man, one thing about gangs, even in LA, there's always, even the hardest blood or Crip gang got a couple essays and maybe a white dude or something. And especially in
right,
Colorado. Why? Because they're poor together, right? You know, when there's a rich black person or a rich Latino, I guarantee you, you know who a lot of their friends are? Rich white people.
right, yeah,
Because their intersectionality is they're not poor. They actually have their resource. They have these resources. So I think
yeah,
probably from systemic racism, I think a lot of wealth is built generationally. Mom and dad had a life insurance policy and they owned their house and they owned their car. Um, Jobs, even the spirit of having resources. There's a you could tell when you're around millionaires and you could tell when you're around the most gutterous people, right? Because
mm,
there's an energy that comes with the drama and the trauma, you know. And me, I don't try to act like I'm too traumatized or like I'm too much better. No, I'm not trying to be the loudmouth in the room all the time because I'm the activist. I got to just say something just to say something. It's whatever's appropriate for the moment.
yeah,
I'm with whatever. If the youth are speaking, if I'm at a march and they got the bullhorn and they're doing fine, I don't need to be like, let me get the bullhorn.
yeah,
Nah, if the little sisters got it, cool. If they don't have it, I'll be like, man, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? Let me show y'all how to do it. But there's been plenty of times where I was supposed to lead a march, and it'd be like some young sisters. They got it. They leading the march.
yeah,
I'm gonna help them. And there's been times where I was not supposed to lead a march. It had nothing to do with me. I'm just showing up. But they be like, yo, Terrance is here. man, dude, come on, man, we need that energy. We need you to, and
Yeah.
it ain't just hip hop artists on the stage who get it cracking. We can, I've got it cracking with thousands of people in front of me, and it's about justice. Had nothing to do with rapping, and the whole crowd is rocking with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm a rock star now, and I'm an activist. So if I gotta bring it, I'm gonna bring it. If I gotta shut up and stand in the back, if that's the best, don't think I won't. I don't need to always exert myself, and it feels good to be to that point.
Right, right.
Because I am at that point. I go
Okay.
either way.
How did you end up transitioning from, I guess I'll ask this first, like with obviously what happened at the Holly and like the stress, and then obviously, you got, would they say charged or convicted? And then like obviously you beat the case, right?
Well, so
What,
no, I
what
was
would they
not
call that?
convicted. So,
Oh yeah, you're right, not
well, so
convicted.
what happened was, I was found not guilty at trial day, and they
Right,
dismissed my weapons case.
right.
So I was able to leave the courtroom, and I'll be honest with you, I was retired, bro.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm cool. I'm not. I didn't get back into activism until Nipsey Hussle got killed by Eric Holder in L.A.
Right.
When Shitty killed Nip, because like I talk to Nip sometimes. Like, man, I was going to L.A. doing a lot of activism.
Really?
Man, activism took me all over the world, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was in every hood. Um,
What were some of those conversations like with Nip?
one time he got a little upset with me. Even they were always positive, cool. We didn't talk all the time. We wasn't like good
Like
friends.
homies, yeah.
Like you meet people on YouTube and all that. But I had done some work in LA that we had knew some of the similar people. So we got connected, and one time he got a little upset because he was egging on somebody to get DP to 60s or something, and I was like, bro, come on, man. Because my daughter's actually elderly trained, and he was an elderly trained, him and Black Salmon and Marie retrained. So I know some people from the retrained community actually who I lived in LA. So I have some different connects. And he was just like, I got this, bro. You know what I mean? But I mean, Nib was from 6-0. Nib has still some of that energy. As much as he had that positive energy, I knew he was getting a lot of pressure.
Mm,
From because he was still connected. People knew I was disconnected, but I was getting different pressures from being in the Holly. But the same pressure I was getting in the Holly, he was getting at the Marathon store and being right there. You know what I mean? Right off of Crenshaw, man. I mean, when you got to deal with that energy and the shootings and the gangs, that's a lot of pressure, bro. He made it look good, but I know he was under a lot of pressure. I mean, he's slapping people. When you at
on the
an
camera, yeah, I
award
seen
show,
that.
slapping people, he's a superstar, man. That was a lot of pressure.
Right.
He was going through some stuff, but before he got killed, I actually had not talked to him for a little while.
Mm,
Uh, but because there was really no need to. Just every now and then we tapped in a few times with each other, but you know.
after that happened though, you
So what ended up happening when he got killed, when the Rover 60s and the eight trays and all the bloods were going to the marathon store, we had Bloods and Crips because we were doing the camouflage movement where we lower violence, and we had everybody that was involved. Young Doe, Interstate Ike, K-Tone, Who Ride Gerald from the East Side. We had East Side Crips, Park Hill Bloods. We had Aurora Crips, Montbello Crips and Bloods, 781 Fams. Um, everybody was doing the camo, bro. Like the whole.
what was the idea behind the camo?
Well, because
My bad.
our colors for Prodigal Son used to be green and orange, and
Mm,
then we started wearing green and gold. Then I did this humanitarian trip to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and when I came back, there were some activists in Haiti who were wearing some old camouflage gear that they had gotten from the UN, some peacekeepers, and they were like using it to be activists. So when you seen a few people wearing the camouflage, you knew that they were the ones giving out the rights and stuff. And I told the Prodigal Son kids, and they were like, we should get some camouflage shirts because it got the black and the brown together.
yeah.
And that's why we started
Oh,
doing
that's
it.
dope. Yeah.
Yeah, so we started walking it in Denver because it had the black and the brown, and we were doing environmental justice work with the kids and with the development. And so the camel just spoke to the black and the brown together, got the beige in there for the other races, and it had the green for the earth. So the camel to us represented everything Prodigal Son stood for, which was my 501c3. So I got a big logo, that gold glittery logo on the front. or on the back that said it, and it was a logo right here. Then we
Yeah.
had some with the big logo, and it was like that. It was camouflaged with the shiny gold, and it looked kind of like your sweater. And you know, a lot of Bloods and Crips had kids in my programs, either as their kids or nieces and nephews. So they'd be like, "Let me get one, you know, let me get one Blood, let me get one cuz," you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where we were handing out so many camouflage shirts to Bloods and Crips. I would be going around town and they'd be wearing my shirt, and I didn't even know who they were. But they have my shirt on, but they'd be
Yeah.
wearing like a blue bandana or something. I'd be like, where this dude get this shirt from? And it got to be where it was so many people,
Yeah.
we didn't even we couldn't even keep up with who it was. And we see Bloods with it on, red key hats, with my shirt on. And I'd be like, where the hell did they get it? And I go talk to someone, I'm like, bro, because I didn't even know all of them at that time. I'd be like, where did you get that shirt? They'd be like, oh, I got it from my, you know, saying my little cousin goes to this program. I'm like, that's my program. They'd be like, oh, okay, you know. So we just started. I got a grant for $5,000.
Mm.
I bought all these New Era hats, a bunch of camouflage, and I ordered a bunch of camouflage New Era hats.
The fit is.
And I just went to Park Hill and Montbello on the east side. You know, these are like $33 hats.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know, instead of just getting just the cheap ones online, because I knew we weren't no rappers and nobody was gonna wear none of that. You know, I first went to like K-Tone, Interstate Ike, Nam from Llama Squad, who actually got me on Vlad TV. Nam pulled up to my office.
So is he from here originally? No,
Nam's
or?
actually from New York City.
Okay.
But then they moved to Denver for a while, Llama Squad.
Mm. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, now he's in Los Angeles. You know, I don't really think that he felt like he got the love he should have got here in Denver.
Mm.
That's a whole nother story. That's his
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
his story to tell because he got a lot of love as well. But you know, just kind of how it could be in the industry, right? But yeah. So all of those people came to my office. Hassan was with the camo movement. You know, the young man who I had to defend myself again. All them Bloods was all the Crips. And when we got them on that one common Denver movement, we named it Hills of Hood. So it was either the Colorado Camel movement or we just call our events like Hill to Hood. Interstate
Mm.
we're doing Hill to Hood stuff in Montbello, and we were doing Hill to Hood stuff in Park Hill, and we kind of combined those movements, and it worked, bro. We were able to adding police that doesn't stop violence. The police come after you're dead. Before that, they're driving around. What lowers violence is the people who are doing the violence saying they don't want to do the violence anymore.
Yeah.
Other than that, they'll just wait. Stupid people, they'll wait for the police to go right, and they'll just go slide on you going left and just drive and catch you. So we were really getting the hitters and the shooters and the real Crips and Bloods were like, yo, that's a positive. Even the ones who wasn't rocking camo, like, yo, I ain't with that movement, but I see what y'all doing because my other homeboy or my daughter or my other homegirl, they're with it. I'm still a Crip or a Blood, which I was never trying to tell nobody you can't be who you are. I was just like, shit, wear camouflage, bro, just to show the love. And
Right.
the ones who were with rocking it, they rocked it, and the ones who weren't with it, they gave us respect. And we were just able to kind of keep it like this, because it's not me making a decision. I could say what I want. If somebody want to go shoot somebody, that's what they're gonna go do. So all these activists and the police taking the credit for stopping the violence, like I said in the documentary, you can't take the credit. The Bloods got to take the credit for stopping the violence.
Mm.
The Crips get the credit because they're the ones who's gonna go do the work. They're the steppers, and they have to make the decision not to do it. And they make the decision not to do it when they have a job. Their music career is taking them places. When they don't feel like they have to, when they feel respected, when they're not afraid, getting help with their trauma or their drama. That's what makes somebody who's gonna pick up a gun,
Yeah.
and go kill somebody and say, "Nah, man, I should go kill these cats tonight." But you know what? I got an interview with Mal High Minute tomorrow. I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah.
They may hold off tomorrow. Then after that, they may be like, "Man, that Mal High Minute interview went up. I'm gonna go kill these fools, but I'm gonna wait till next Tuesday." Next Tuesday comes and they got something else, and they look up, bro. They don't even know. They ain't even think about killing nobody.
Right. Right.
And that's always been my intentions, man. It's not ever to force my beliefs.
That's real.
Not beat over the head with the Bible. I don't go to church, nor am I against it. I'm not out here dissing Bloods and Crips. But if you're an active gang member and you're working for law enforcement and you're telling people Terrance is a snitch, or you cripping and you hating on Britain for no reason because you didn't shout somebody's name out. My situation, the people who are negative like that, they are admittedly the police. But people who I see bringing that kind, and I don't even know who's hating on you. I'm just
In
generalizing.
general, yeah.
Bringing that kind of energy, come on, man. Like, that's what made me run for mayor, bro. Because too often people think that if you caught up in hip hop and you're an ex gang member, that you're just full of anger and ignorance and violence,
Right.
and you can't hold yourself in a debate with these seasoned politicians.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
y'all using my platform. Why? Because I'm from the poverty. I'm from the systemic racism, and that's why I was an activist. Because I know I don't have to study for a debate. I get up there on the 9 News debate. I say what's real, and they're still in my platform because they're not what's real. I am from the streets. I went to Montbello. I remember I was a ditch baby too, right? I'm a Colfax baby. I'm from all of it. Like I said,
Yeah, that's how I know you watched one of my clips. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah.
First of all, them is
Yeah.
they hang with my little brothers in them. I don't know him personally, but
Yeah.
I follow hip hop. I'm a product of the culture.
Yeah.
I'm from there. Who knows where the Bloods would even be in Denver? I'm from
Yeah.
the time you couldn't even wear red in East Denver, man. If the Crips and dark blue didn't get you, the ones with the light blue was gonna get you.
Yeah.
you know, uh, my ignorance and violence and trauma, my lack of a stable home because my grandmother had to work 15 hours a day helped build the blood gang up. A lot of sweat, equity, and blood, sweat, and tears went to all these rappers and 781 families and CMGs and all that. I played a part in that too because of what negative things I went to. I'm not trying to force anyone to do what I'm doing. I just want to show a positive side to it. It doesn't matter if you're a blood or a crip. You can run for mayor too. You can run for city council. You can't run for city council or being there being ignorant because you're really going to embarrass
Right.
yourself. Everybody supporting you. But if you want to put a suit on, if you want to know the issues, if you want to get on that stage, so much. Hip hop is a leg up. Hip hop is not a hindrance to you. I've done music myself, and guess what? I'm on there cussing. I'm talking about whatever I want because it shouldn't matter. I'm heterosexual. It shouldn't matter if I'm having sex with whoever. I'm not hurting anybody. If you're LGBTQA, that doesn't matter. If you're a woman, who cares?
Yeah.
What should matter is, are you an intelligent person? Do you have a plan for our city? Do you understand the issues? And are you ready to represent hip hop or whatever you are in a more positive way? And if you're not ready to do that, then don't be mad when somebody says that to you
Yeah.
because they're gonna call you out because nobody's scared of nobody, bro. Like,
Do you think the city, I know this is kind of random, but like do you think the city or Colorado in general is kind of they kind of want to keep the hip hop scene here kind of uncovered or like on the low key in a way because like I don't know, there's so many people here and like we have such a big city, you be seeing these artists popping out at like random places, you know what I'm saying? And I know people say, oh, there's not as many African American people here as there are in, Atlanta or what have you. I get that, but like to a certain extent, it's like it seems like there's almost like this hidden agenda of keeping the hip hop scene here like from blowing up. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much talent in arts out here
I
that's
told you,
like,
the gatekeepers, we talked about that before the cameras were rolling in. I don't need to name anyone in particular.
yeah,
If you're smart, if you're from the hip hop scene, then you know who the gatekeepers are. They're not supporting my campaign. Why? I'm saying we need to make Denver a 24-hour city to bring the hip hop industry to Denver and the film industry. If I'm mayor of Denver, right now I'm the protagonist of a documentary that could win an Oscar. I just did No Jumper. I mean, not No Jumper.
but
Vlad TV. Shout out to Vlad.
when is that dropping, by the way?
He said a couple weeks,
Okay, yeah.
but me, I don't have a problem with No Jumper. Then I'm trying to get on No Jumper. I'm not banking.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't have no rap beef. I don't care about Adam 22. Like,
yeah,
nor am I against him. Like, if AD, we've had AD in the house.
yeah.
You know,
Oh, really?
I was just out there with his manager, Swish. Shout out to Swish, Adrian Swish. He was
Yeah, Switch.
great.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of talent
I did
here.
not know AD was at the Holly at one point. That's crazy.
Yeah. He got a video call ready, and he's in the hobby. You can see it. Uh, but so my thing is this: is like we have a lot of talent in Denver and Colorado. We have people like Adrian Swish who managed AD. First, he was managing Kid Ink. Managed AD. AD blew a no jumper, really. He brought that Compton Crip, the Pyrus, the Bloods, the rappers, African American energy. He brought that energy there. Now there's Trail and all of these different people there, right? All that came through AD. Um, the only thing about Colorado is I do wonder if people are really like, do we really want to see someone get signed to a major deal? Is that what? Because it seems like every time somebody's able to get out of the box, the box state,
People
it's
drag.
people from Chicago or LA like, oh, y'all don't have it. It's somebody from Denver who's tearing them down, or it's club promoters who could put you on the stage. But Nam got me on Vlad, and Nam stayed here, bro. And I'm speaking for him. He could talk for himself. He gets in tonight, actually, from LA, but the love wasn't here. And he would call me on the phone and be like, bro, man, I'm supposed to get on this show. They told me to get on the show, then they told me I couldn't get on the stage. And he'd be frustrated. And I'm telling him, like, no, I'm from Denver, so I don't want you, because I know you're going to leave here.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want you to leave here feeling like everybody from Denver. It's just fake like that, and got to gatekeep you like that to feel Denver famous.
I feel like I interviewed him.
You probably did. I don't know.
Low key.
But
was he in the photos? Yeah, was he in the photos at the Vlad interview?
Yeah.
I swear I interviewed him like a year or two ago. My bad. That's besides the point. Yeah. No.
So he's the one who got me connected to Idi Amin, who Idi Amin got me connected to. He interviewed me for Vlad's platform.
Okay, yeah.
Vlad just came and hung out and just to meet me because he's seen the documentary. But and I'm just using Nam as an example. Man, Nam doesn't have sometimes he doesn't have very good stories. And I'm from Denver, and I'm listening to him, and I don't feel disrespected. You know why? Because the same people who are funny with him, who he could have got on who he could have got on Vlad TV before he got me on, he could have got them on there, but he don't even think about them because of how they're treating him.
Right.
So when he's saying these things about Denver, I don't feel like, oh, bro, you just in my town. Because I'm like, man, these same people did the same thing to me. So do people in Denver want to be famous and want that? I'm not going to act like people are afraid. No, you see people like J Triple. I see people like, I see all these different rap groups and people blown up. I see Trev. I know Trev has won some awards, and I don't know, maybe 20 years in the game now. I don't know how long Trev has been. Wow, he's an OG to me now.
He's respected for sure.
Spring chicken no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
AP, I remember going to Montbello doing speaking engagements for Young Life. When AP was hooping, I thought AP was going to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
People don't talk about how good AP was a hooper. He's one of our most talented rappers out of Colorado, but AP could hoop.
Right.
And I was thinking, and I remember thinking about him, like, man, that brother, because he was always charismatic. But I was thinking, like, man, this brother's about to go to the NBA. So when I seen AP rapping like he was, I was thrown back a little bit. But now, of course, over the years, that's who he is. It settled on me. Because I don't know AP that well. I know him well enough, But that's how I met him as a hooper when he was a kid. He was in high school. So I know AP wants it, bro. I know Trev wants it. They've gotten it. But I would really love to see AP or Trev or J Triple or somebody like that. I really love to see him sign really to a major, really get those features, get a Beyonce feature.
Right.
I really like to see, more of an international push coming out of Denver. And I do think that it has to do with some of the gatekeeping that is occurred in our city.
That's real. Okay.
That's why it took an activist to be the first person from Denver, Colorado to get on Vlad TV.
Right. That is weird. Yeah.
I am an artist,
right.
But that's not my main. That's not
right.
why I was on Vlad TV. And there's not even one artist, like I said earlier. Man, I hate to say it, but right now I don't even know who I could call Nam, because Nam is the connect to Vlad TV. I'm not the connect. Nam is the connect. And me and Nam have talked about it, and it's like, oh, it's like I don't even know who else to in Denver to recommend right now. Not
Yeah.
that the talent is not here,
Right. But it needs to.
but the love is not. It's
Yeah.
not about the talent. The talent's here. Uh, the love ain't here.
Do you- So I know this might be kind of a crazy question to ask, but like you're running for mayor out here, would you ever consider moving out of Denver? Because it seems like obviously you have a lot of love for the city, but you see some of the struggles that people, once they do get that name, it's tough, you know, like I'm sure it weighs a lot on your mind, you know, the backlash and different things you have to go to. Obviously you get a lot of love too, you know, wherever you're from, you're that's where you get the most love, but you're going to get the most hate. Like we've been saying this whole interview.
You killed in your home state.
Right.
Town, we know that, right? But right now I'm not considering, like I said to you earlier about me going back to the Holly. Well, I gotta move. Like what? You know, man, the bad guys can't always win. You know, nor am I here fighting the bad guys. They need to stop trying to fight me because I'm not trying to be tough. I'm not trying to be like I'm Suge Knight. But I'm a man before I'm anything, and I'm gonna defend myself. I'm not worried about. I'm still not out here pushing. Oh, you're a snitch. You this or you that. Now the people who are snitching, who got called out for snitching, for calling me a snitch, come to find out they're snitching. They're still being negative. They're getting on talk shows. They're doing podcasts. That's it. Shit is settled, bro. I'm not gonna move town just because they got a consolidated effort. As long as I'm not selling drugs, I'm living righteous. I'm not pursuing hurting them or nothing. I'm in my integrity. I can go back to trial and say, look, there's all this evidence of them threatening me. There's evidence of me not worried about them. So no, I'm not thinking about moving to Denver. You would think they will be smart and leave Denver. But I'm here, bro. My kids are here. I'm campaigning. Uh, my business is here. I'm doing me. I'm if I do leave Denver, it's because there's a better opportunity for me to help my family, myself, and other people somewhere else. And right now, that opportunity does not exist. So until that opportunity comes up, you know, shout out to people who got love for me. I'm gonna be here, and if you hate,
Yeah.
you're gonna be triggered.
What are some of the, I suppose, like main things that you know, want a part of your campaign, or like say if and or when you become mayor, what are some of the things that you would want to have as an impact on the city and stuff that are like, you know, that can happen?
So most of the candidates that are running for mayor are talking about affordable housing, which that's a deceptive term to me because of course who doesn't want affordable housing?
Right.
Affordable housing is owned by billionaire developers. I'm saying we need more public social housing that's mainly owned by the city
Mm,
because hip hop came out of public housing. It was mixed and
right.
managed. We have public housing in Denver now. We have the Quick Newtons. We have all kind of public housing over there for 12th and Federal.
I came from public housing shit.
It's
Yeah.
the problem with public housing is if it's mismanaged.
Yeah.
And you have people either due to classism, racism, and they just don't care. They're not fixing the pipes, not fixing the leaks. They're just letting it be full of it, gang infested, drug infested. There's nothing for the children to do. That's the problem with what we're seeing with public housing. Not one candidate is talking about. Well, a couple have actually gleaned off of my platform to now start saying it, which is great because I don't own the term public housing. But the reason why I got in this race is because now one candidate's talking about not paying billionaires. Even affordable housing is built by billionaires who are going to build these huge, big box buildings all around Denver. 250 apartments, but 15 are affordable housing, which are not even affordable for people who need it.
Yeah.
So I got in the race to say that we need more public social housing. We need a public banking system.
I
To
don't,
pay for it. Public housing is owned mainly by the developers. Now, there's a couple examples of nonprofits owning it. Nonprofits are governed by community people, so anything can happen with that. So not all of these units are owned by developers. There's a few different examples, but for the most part, most of this affordable housing, and I put that in quotation marks because it's not that affordable, is owned by billionaire developers. So what I'm saying is we need more public housing that's well managed with services on site, childcare on site, mental health services, alcohol abuse services, fentanyl abuse services, whatever kind of services are needed. We need to have those kind of services there. We need more safe encampments for people who are homeless who don't want to go and live in a structure. There are homeless people who don't want to live in a building for whatever reason. They've been abused, bed bugs ate them up, who knows? But for whatever reason, they should be able to take hot showers. They should be able to wash their clothes. They should be able to have safe lighting, a safe space to stay warm, stay cool in the summer. We don't have that in Denver. We have an urban camping ban where people go beat up our unhoused neighbors and family members, beat them up. The police wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. They're there pushing them around, but they don't have anywhere to go. So they're going from the Triangle to downtown, to your neighborhood, wherever you may live, to your alley, back to there. So I'm saying we need more public housing. We need safe encampments with hot water, services, food, menstrual products, hygiene products, even a movie screen to show movies there. We need a public banking system to add banking services to people who can't get a bank account. You should be able to get a bank account because if you don't have a debit card in some restaurants, even you may as well be illiterate. You can't just plop down a wad of cash everywhere. So if we have a homeless problem in Denver, and that's our biggest issue, who's moving from a tent on Colfax and Broadway into a brand new affordable housing unit? You don't have a bank account even and a debit card. You can't move into an apartment with a wad of cash. They're not going to take a wad of cash, whether you're homeless or not. So those types of things, we need to make Denver a 24-hour city. We need to bring the film and the music industry to Denver. Not only will I think it will help lower violence in our city, but I think that it will add more sales tax dollars to help with homeless initiatives. And we could add jobs, add income. There's a lot of rappers. It amazes me that every rapper and actor in Denver, for whatever reason, is not getting behind my campaign. We got club promoters that are going to become millionaires when I'm the mayor, when I make Denver a 24-hour world-class city. And I haven't heard from them. You know, that's kind of the pains of running for office. But these are the types of things that need to be done. Because if other people can't move the city forward, that's why I'm running for office, to make sure that we get somebody who's from the culture in office to move our city forward, or we're not going to have any more African Americans or Latinos on the 5 points. That's almost done. We're getting washed out of Northeast Park Hill. We have some African Americans left. We have a lot of Latinos moving into Montbello, but Montbello is actually a very neglected community, and a lot of Latinos moving into Montbello are being very neglected. No one is speaking for that demographic. Most African Americans are being pushed into Green Valley Ranch or into Aurora. In Green Valley Ranch, if you own your house, you can't even put a basketball hoop up. That's a $250 fine.
Really?
Or they'll put
That's
a lien on
wild.
your house. And once they put these fines, these HOA fees on your house, you can't even sell your house until you pay those HOA fees. There's a lien on your house for putting up a basketball hoop. So this is what I'm saying. If we don't get someone in office who's concerned with these things, how are we going to have a hip hop community in Denver if it's not a 24-hour city? If the clubs close at 1:30 and there's a bunch of shootouts and violence at Lodo's, you got to hurry up with there, get your set in, get your set in. You got to get pushed out with all kinds of different elements. By 2 o'clock, that's not conducive for a city to have artists get signed in, to have other artists come to our city. If we don't bring the film industry to Denver, then you could just keep seeing people from Los Angeles and Atlanta in movies. Nobody's making a movie in Denver if we don't have a movie studio. It's a lot of equipment. It takes a lot of work. We need sales tax initiatives and dollars to make sure that we have people who even say they want to move a film studio to Denver. So those are the type of things that it's going to take a mayor to do, and that's why I'm running for mayor. A lot of me running for mayor is really based off of the culture of people that I'm trying to save, and a lot of that is people who are involved with hip hop culture. I'm not just saying this because I'm Black. I'm saying this because these are the people who I know need the most help. Black people and brown people in Denver, and working class white people too. If you've grown up even around here, Lakewood, the 5 Points, Park Hill, and Montbello, and you white, you probably caught up in that same poverty. Poor people in Denver need a mayor in office who's going to really make sure that those needs are taken care of. And I don't hear any of these candidates talking about poverty. I don't hear them talking. They won't even mention hip hop. There's 17 people on the ballot. One has actually dropped off the ballot. I'm the only candidate who will admit I listen to rap music whenever he can. Who doesn't listen to rap music? Now, it's part
Right.
of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
culture. When you're ashamed to mention that you listen to rap music, how can you represent the people who are the most downtrodden, who their favorite genre of music is actually hip hop music? Okay, so I'm here representing not only that culture, but I'm here representing our unhoused neighbors. We had 3 dozen women murdered or severely maimed in the metro area last year in Denver. A lot of young women in the 5 Points getting murdered, Park Hill, Montbello, Queen Valley Ranch. I'm not running for mayor of Aurora, but Aurora lost some young women too. Now, Wayne Kennedy's talking about how many young women are murdered in our surrounding areas in Denver. These are mainly Latinas, but African American women too get shot and killed found by dumpsters. Now, Wayne Kennedy's mentioning is these are our daughters, these are our sisters and our friends. So I'm running for office to represent downtrodden people in the city of Denver. And there's a really good chance I can win this election.
Yeah.
And the
That's
reason I
real.
even want to get on Mount High Minutes because if you're 18 years old, you can register to vote. That's the best right you have in the United States is you can pick who your next leader is. And that's why you have certain people from certain demographics wanting someone who looks like them, someone who's white, someone who's a woman, or someone who's this. Because a lot of times, if someone's from your demographic, they're going to make decisions that are for your best interest. A lot of our hip hop artists have children.
Mm.
They are living in poverty. They rap about poverty. They have elderly people in their family. We're not having the millions of dollars of hip hop money flowing into Denver. A lot of our artists in Denver are really trying to make it and survive. You should make sure you're registered to vote and vote for me. Vote for somebody who's from the demographic because I'm speaking to this demographic saying I care about your needs and concerns, not just because I
Mm.
make music or I used to be a gang member. No, vote for me because I'm talking about finding jobs, making our city a safer city, adding more public housing to people who are our family members who need housing. We need rent controls in Denver. The mayor can't just put rent controls. The governor has to do it at a state level. But once Governor Polis signs rent control at a state level,
Yeah.
municipalities, mayors can opt in. And of course, if I'm Mayor of Denver, I've been saying since day one, once Governor Polis signs rent control into law, the municipality of Denver under my administration, we're signing rent control into law. Uh, uh, I'm speaking to people who watch this platform. These are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that it's better for your children. Where is your daughter going to live in 10 years?
Yeah.
So just any negativity that you've heard, just because I've had to defend my life, be more worried about your daughter or your son's life than you are a hater talking about Terrance Roberts. Because I am on the ballot. I'm number 6 on the ballot. You can register to vote on your cell phone. You can Google register to vote Colorado. It takes 1 minute to register to vote. They just need your name, your address, your date of birth, your driver's license number, or the last 4 of your social. It really doesn't take long to vote. Early voting actually starts today, Denver. So this is the 27th up until April 4th at 7 p.m. You can be in line or go vote in person. They'll register you to vote there. But if you live in Denver County, you have family that live in Denver, vote for Terrance Roberts. Because I'm worried about who's going to be our next mayor. Because whoever our next mayor is going to be, they could be mayor for 12 years. Because the mayor of Denver in our city charter says you could run for mayor 3 times, but
Mm.
it's 4-year terms. So whoever's going to be our next mayor could be mayor for 12 years. Impoverished communities in Denver don't have 12 years. Westwood, developers are gonna Westwood's not even gonna be Westwood anymore. So if you're a rapper, you from Westwood, if you watch Mount High Minute, they're coming for your community. They're coming for you. They're gonna be calling it Western Sierras overlooking downtown. It's not even gonna be Westwood anymore. Look at how they renamed the North Side the Highlands. That's what comes with
Mm.
gentrification. It's not just moving out people of culture or of color. It also comes with a whole renaming of your whole community. They don't even want your community even named anymore. So I'm really here fighting for Westwood, fighting for the North Side, fighting for the 5 Points, Park Hill, Montbello, Aurora, ACO. I'm fighting for our communities. And that's all I can offer, man, is when I'm in
Yeah.
office, I'm going to do these things. And we really need 18-year-olds. We really need people who are 19, 20, 21 to don't just rap about it. Don't complain about it because that's weak sauce. No, go vote, bro. Go vote, ma'am. It only takes a minute to register to vote, man. Go down there. If you working, most rappers in Denver gotta work.
Right. Yeah.
They're working jobs. You know, all this talent, man. We can't even really get nobody who's getting 5, 10 bands a show, bro. Like when I'm in office, we're gonna work on those types of things. I really want to bring the arts to Denver because I really feel like through the arts, we can lower these. We had 88 homicides in Denver last year.
You can focus on that instead of the streets and stuff. Yeah.
I've worked in Denver. I've worked in Los Angeles where Crips and Bloods were focused on. As soon as a dope beat, they be mean mugging. As soon as a dope, like, oh,
Yeah.
I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen just a beat bring Crips and Bloods together because they about to start rapping on this beat. And it was just about to start fighting right before somebody said, "Where you from?" The engineer turned the beat on, and it went from me mugging to now they're writing verses together. Man, if we could bring the film industry to Denver, you know how many jobs that would create. You know how many you wouldn't have to go to LA to be in the industry. We'll have a studio right in our city. That's how Bone from Training Day. He was on probation and had a job at Universal Studios. And the guy in the Miller Lite commercial was a fake gangster. And the guy asked Bone, "Man, can you stand there and look like a gangster because you were a real one?" Bone said, "Sure." He did the Miller Lite commercial. Next thing you know, Eve flew him out to do her music video and paid him like $25,000 because he was on probation, working at a Miller Lite commercial, moving all the camera equipment. Now, Bone's rich. He's been in Training Day. I mean, Suge ran him over. He had the money to get his feet fixed. He didn't need Section 8. I mean, he didn't need a GoFundMe. He's worth it. He got his own body fixed. So those are the type of things I really want to do for Denver, man. We do need more public housing that's well managed, not racist public housing. We need public housing that's well managed and to make sure that our babies have somewhere to live in 10 years. And I'm in the race and I'm very, very confident
That's dope.
that
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the runoff. So the top 2 people, 51%, 50.1% of the vote, one person, there has to be a runoff between the top 2 people. So I'm very confident if people who even watch platforms like this go out and vote for me because I do have their best interest at heart, there's a really good chance I can make the runoff. And then the next election with the top 2 people was June 6th. So I'm in there, bro. This is anybody's race. 58% of people are undecided, and over 50% of the ballots have not been turned in that have been mailed out. So, man, hopefully you can get this chopped up, some of this, before April 4th. And man, let's get to the polls. This is the next step of hip hop. This is the next necessary step, is just rapping about the poverty, or getting somebody who is proud to say I'm from the genre and from the community into office and changing the poverty. Or it's almost like you want the poverty just to have something to rap about.
Right.
Let's
That's real.
change the poverty.
That's real.
You know, maybe.
So sorry, I know you kind of just explained it, but the runoff. So how it works is, so there's 15 candidates now, right? Or 16?
Now there's 17 on the ballot.
Okay.
But one guy dropped off of the mayor's race to now focus on the school board race, even though he's on our ballot. So there's 16 of us. And one person doesn't get 50% plus one, like 50.1.
Okay, so majority.
And so you have to be very popular to get that many.
Right.
Then that means the top 2 who gets like 15 and 16.
Right. Okay.
But if somebody gets 14, it's only the 15 and 16.
Oh, okay.
Then it's only those top 2. And we decide that April 4th. So early voting is now. So people could go start voting today. Actually, I think they close at 7 p.m. every night. The actual election day is April 4th, and you have to be in line. That's when everyone's going to go, is April 4th.
By April 4th at 7 p.m.?
At 7 p.m., you have to be in line to vote. Even if it's
Okay.
around the block. It won't be But I'm saying no matter how long a line is, you have to be in the line at 7 p.m.
Right. They'll close the line at
They'll
that time.
close it off.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's by law, actually. But you can start voting now if you got a mail-in ballot. But go vote, man. Register to vote, even if it's not for me. Like, I don't want to sound selfish.
That's real. That's
I want our.
you never would hear that. I think that's real.
Really am concerned with our people. I don't see who else this community, the hip hop community, will vote for besides me. When I'm
Right.
speaking to putting Denver on the map, making us a 24-hour city, bringing the film and music industry here to get somebody signed to a major. The city of Denver is not structured even for someone to be signed to a major.
Right. There's a lack of infrastructure for sure.
A lack of infrastructure around the industry. So it's not that the talent is not here. The infrastructure for our city is not set up. You can't even be at a nightclub. Great. We got promoters who've been doing this 20-some, 30-some years. But if the club closes at 1:30, that's money. You think Glorilla, any of them want to really come and really hang out in Denver? They might be getting beat up at 2 a.m. That's when it just gets started in some of these cities.
Right.
They ain't even pulling up till 2. What do you mean you're there at 1:30?
Yeah. Yeah.
2:30, we'll see you. They just pulling in.
All right.
2:30 in Denver, it's a ghost town. Everybody's eating pancakes. You at IHOP, you done for the night. You might have there might be an after party, but there's no millionaire artist who's really got to get up in the morning and get ready for that next concert or that. They're not going to Denver's after party. No disrespect, because I know the people who organize it. I'm just saying that's more of a local thing. I'm not going to LA's after party. I'm not even an artist. If some Crips or Bloods be like, yo, T, come, they've asked me, come to this after party. It's over here in the jungles. I'm good, bro. I'm not going to that. So no, I'm saying we really need to structure our city. So either April 4th, I'm going to get 50% of the vote and I'm going to just be the mayor, or it's going to be me and somebody else. Then June 6th is that the final election. But after April 4th, it's only going to be 2 of us versus it's Terrance and it's all these different candidates. And that's when you'll see really CNN, political. I'm going to have a lot of stars coming out for me. It's going to be big time, bro. We're going to really have a lot of the industry people coming out and supporting me. Right now, we don't really need to pull that kind of star power. I don't even have that kind of star power because there's so many people in the race, and it could go anyway. But if I make the run off April 4th, we turning up in Denver. We ain't looking back. So
that's real.
There's not one candidate that's on that ballot that I think wants to do a one-on-one with me for 2 months. I'm addressing the issue, bro. Poverty is the issue. We have a lot of poor people in Denver, man, in our city.
That's real.
Saying that if you're afraid to say there's poor people in Denver, which all of them are afraid to say, you definitely don't deserve to be in Denver.
People are definitely afraid to say that.
Well,
yeah, no, you ain't lying. And that's just from like an outside in perspective. Like, all right. Well, I appreciate you for coming on the platform. This has been a dope interview. I appreciate you coming on and like giving us your backstory and letting us know why we should vote for you for mayor in the upcoming election. What's next for Terrance Roberts outside of like the mayor stuff? Obviously, you've already let the people know about that, but like, what's next? What are some of your like end goals and like what keeps you going? Like where can people find you? All the good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
If because who knows what's going to happen with my campaign? No matter what, it's going to go away.
Yeah,
and that's Terrance at TerranceRobertsForMayor.com. But you can always hit me at T Roberts Love Life at ProtonMail.com. So excuse me, but so yeah, email me, man. T Roberts Loves Life at ProtonMail. And my next steps, man, we really, I'm dipping my toe into production work, man. I really like what the Holly did to save my life and to help get my story out there about what happened to me personally, misconceptions about me, all the lies that were told about me for people working for law enforcement. It really helped me out. I probably could not run for office if I didn't have to defend my life, I could have ran for office. But after they did that to me, if this documentary didn't come out to correct that narrative, I would not be able to run for office on a false narrative of what people thought about me. So if a documentary film could uplift our cities, then they're talking about Denver and Australia, New Zealand. I don't think people understand how on the map Denver is. We on the map right now. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Anybody could have been on Vlad TV, bro. They wanted Terrance Roberts from Denver on Vlad TV. All these cities, bro. Do you know what's happening in Orlando and Jacksonville and LA?
Right.
They gave Denver some space. They never have.
Never. Yeah.
You know, so I really
Yeah.
want to get us more into those spaces, man, with Vlad TV. I want to get us more into those spaces with film production. And if I can't do it as mayor, then I'll do it as a film producer, bro. So we're gonna start getting involved with some production work. We already are.
Yeah.
You know, I learned a lot, man, making the Holly. That's almost 10 years of my life. It was 8 years of my life. Meeting the cameraman, meeting the editor, seeing what it took to raise the money, to really get it out there, to get a distributor.
Yeah.
You know, so I really want to bring that type of talent and knowledge. It's time to start telling these Denver stories,
Right.
and really putting Denver on the map in the film industry and the music industry. So behind the scenes, more so, I'm not interested in being more of an out front artist or anything, or an actor. I'm really having my heart set on being someone who can produce, you know, not produce beats or anything, but really produce the stories that are going to come out of Denver. We got a few we're already talking about working on. So.
That's dope. Okay. And is there any, like, I guess, last minute rumors or things about the documentary or about the book or how it all came together that I guess you want to address? Or, I mean, do you feel like you've already basically addressed it all?
Of course, we don't have his haters.
Right.
They mad because a white man wrote it. Okay, you white, you run this. Name a
Yeah.
rap artist who hasn't been on this because you white. Why does that matter? Eminem's white. Like, who cares? There's not a rap artist. Trust me, T.I., all of them. Leo Cohen, you name it. They got somebody behind them. This is a very multifaceted, multicultural industry. That's just the way for people to hate because not nobody black has still wrote a book about what happened to me. All right, if somebody black want to write what happened, you can still write another book. They haven't. So people act like, oh, they're mad because a white boy wrote it. So what? He's white. I'm saying I'm black. I'm saying so what? Where's the black journalist? He's a journalist. That's one thing. And for two, the other thing I gotta say is it's all on camera, man. So if you got a problem with what's on camera, hey, let's say that's pretty weird, but we're revolutionary, bringing our industry up in Denver and possibly making you a millionaire. Whoever's listening, if you're in the hip hop industry, there's a chance if I'm the mayor, that's gonna be your time to shine. Because you're gonna really get a listening ear and you're gonna have an industry here to take your career forward. It's hard to go to LA, bro, to move your career forward. If you're not going to LA, you could be from Atlanta, New York. Biggie died in LA. He was living there for 6 months. Right now, if you're not going to LA, you're not getting on Vlad. Vlad told me they own a studio in New York. They have one in LA. Good luck in New York, bro. You got to get on that subway. You don't want to be walking down Fordham Road in the Bronx and nobody knows. Just trust me, I've done it. I'm saying we're going to bring it here. You can be living at your mama's house or at your own apartment or wherever in Denver and get on Vlad, be in the movies, get your music distributed. Besides DistroKid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
other than it being on camera, I don't care what no haters got to say about it. They shouldn't have called me a snitch and attacked me when I'm not. I was really minding my own business. I was doing a peace rally that day. I don't have to be from CMG. CMG's from LA. I'm from Denver. I don't have to do none of that. Nor am I against what you're doing. Just keep it pushing, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you don't like me, but I'm going to defend my character. I'm going to defend my personal body as well, my physical body. And I'm not coming for nobody. So
He's
it's all
cool.
good.
All right.
Other than that, watch the film, The Holly. If you feel like reading a 400-page book, read the book.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on. It's been a pleasure to do this interview with you. Yeah, can I just get a shout out for Mile High Minute one time? I know you already told the people where to find you and stuff like that and to go vote, but
Now, shout out Mile High Minute. This is the biggest hip hop platform in Denver. Um, I asked Mile High Minute to put me on because I really care about the demographic that it covers. You know, a younger hip hop generation demographic, and everybody's politicking about the death and the poverty that you're experiencing. All these politicians are talking about you while playing your music at their events. They're playing hip hop music at your events, talking about your poverty, your kids getting killed, and don't even care about you, won't even invite you, won't even come on Mount High Minute. They don't even know about hip hop in this city. So I know somebody's ready to blow in Denver. I support it, and Mount High Minute is a great platform, man. So a shout out to Mount High Minute and everybody who's been on here, man. I got your back. When you see this neon green, you know that's the Terrance Roberts for Mayor campaign, Save Our City. You see Denver right there on my logo. I'm for the town.
that's real.
I'm from the town. I'm here.
All right. Well, make sure y'all hit that like button, comment down below who you want to see next on the Mile High Minute. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button to stay notified when all the latest news drops. Make sure y'all go follow Terrance Roberts on everything, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Links will be in description of this interview. And make sure you guys go vote. It's important, man. We need the city to show out.
Even if it's not for me, go vote, man. That's your God-given right. You should do that, and it feel good to exercise it.
All right. Mile High Minute #1 blog in the universe. We out. Appreciate you.